of heavenlymessenger.com, and joining me always is my gorgeous friend, Bobbi Rowntree, born medium. And we are here with you today through Universal Connections and for our live Oracle chats. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure for us to be able to connect with you this way. Bobbi, what do you have to say?
I have to say hello. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Erin.
Yes. I noticed that. That's awesome. So today we have come up with lots of different things to talk about. We're not going to do readings today, but does Bobbi have anything she wants to say?
Today, yes, and instead of readings, we will answer your questions, which are almost kind of the same thing sometimes.
Yeah.
They can go hand in hand in a way. I'm going to make it bigger.
Yeah.
And also today, we have certain topics that we are going to address.
We've got a couple of things that have come up, but we also would love to hear from you. So please drop your general questions, not specific reading questions in. We would love to connect with you.
I'm interested in Carrie's comment.
With being pregnant, yes, indeed.
Is Carrie pregnant or is somebody else pregnant? Why pregnant?
Maybe it's a pregnant pause.
Maybe it was a pregnant pause. I don't know.
Awesome. Well, shall we go through and say hello to everybody and then jump in?
You start because you do it better than I do.
Okay. I just have more experience.
Yes, I get a little excited.
So hello to Erin and Suzanne and Trish. It's wonderful to see all of you. Elizabeth and Anna Nicole, hello. Thanks for joining us. And Julie and Carrie, it's wonderful to see you guys. And let me see, my thing just skipped here. We have Kareen and Jerry, hello, and Haley, hello. It's wonderful to see all of you. I see that we've got a couple of, that's a really cool question there too. Julie, we're not doing readings today, but if you want to ask a general question, we would love to connect with you. Yeah,
and it can even be as helpful. Hello, Lonnie.
Yeah, and Erin as well. If you have a general question, we'd love to connect with whatever you're asking about. And hello to
Lonnie's question.
Oh man,
I need to put it up there so everyone can see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good is all unless there's some sort of Lonnie. I think you're gonna get your wife nice and well.
Yeah. No, you're feeling good, Lonnie.
Lonnie was in grade 4 with me.
Oh, very cool. So you guys go way back, like 10 years ago.
Together. Yeah, 10 years ago we were in grade 4. Yeah. We both aged really badly, apparently. But okay, back to hellos.
Awesome. So we've got hellos to Linda and let me see, and Ange, hello, wonderful to see you. Oh, and Ange is pointing out 333. Yeah, absolutely. 333 when she posted her comment.
Make a wish.
Yes. No, Ascended Masters are with you with 333.
Well, that might be why I make a wish, because I'm like, hey guys, let's
now that you're all here.
I have some earthly things I would like.
Yeah, a little help would be nice.
Yeah, a little help would be nice. That's actually what I do.
Awesome. So I'm kind of feeling the need to jump in with a couple of the things that we had coming up. How do you feel about talking about what you had coming up today, Bobbi?
Okay.
If that's feeling too on the spot, I'm happy to jump in with something.
It's okay, because this is not a subject that I should shy away from, considering I ask people to not shy away from this subject all the time. As you guys all know, and I started talking about it a little bit last time, I was just about to say I have received 2 deaths, but 2 people in my family have crossed over within 10 days of each other. Quite surprising. It's actually 3 altogether within 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was first my Auntie Barb, and then my Auntie Patty, and then my Uncle Brian. And see, saying the names.
Yeah.
See, and I know where they are. I have heard
Mhm.
from all three of them.
Mhm.
And I know that they're in a better and happier place, but I still do this. I still
Mhm.
can't help myself but to be emotional about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny too because and this is why it's difficult for me to talk about, but at the same time I should,
Mhm.
because I help, because people are always coming to me in this state, and I always help them through this state, and I think I'm helping myself through it, and I'm trying to help my family through it, but I can't help my family through it the way I would help you guys through it.
Yeah.
'Cause they don't wanna be helped through it that way. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, I am dealing with mourning right now. I have received what I believe to be strong communications. There are
Mhm.
diamonds everywhere, there's a whole light thing, the whole birds and things like that, and I can feel them and I can kind of hear them, but it's still it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
I don't know what more to say about that.
Well, I think that's really significant. I know the personal experiences that I go through in my life definitely have an impact on how I'm able to show up for my clients. Because even if you've gone through things in the past, sometimes it's so far in the past that I don't know that we need a reminder, but there there are opportunities there are opportunities for reminders. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and, for myself too, I think I had kind of forgotten the significance in the body
Mhm.
that death can
Mhm.
be, because that's almost the first place I felt it. I felt it from
Mhm.
here. Immediately, it was kind of like someone had took something out of me.
Yeah.
And I know that I must put it back in, because if I allow myself to mourn, 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 I'm not going to help them, and I'm not going to hear them well enough. And they're not going to have the same experience on the other side that they would have.
Mhm.
And I want them to have a good time. I don't want to get over there and them go, "What the F? You mourned and you mourned and you mourned." I don't want that. I'll get in trouble. So, you don't want that, and they'll give me trouble here on earth if I mourn
Mhm.
too much, if I cry too much, and it doesn't help anybody. So I am working through that right now because I have to honor it. I have to
Yeah.
honor grief. I have to honor my loss,
Yeah.
but then be happy for them for their gain.
Yeah.
I lost,
Yeah.
they gain. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and finding that balance between the honoring of the morning and what you're experiencing and being able to move forward.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then
Yeah.
the moving forward is the hard one, because
Yeah.
then you have to say that they're not there.
Yeah.
Oh, thought it was okay. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'm just noticing oh, hold on a second. I have somebody that I just need to take
Oh, is
take
there a
uh,
blue head?
yeah, yeah, I'm just taking care of somebody here.
Oh,
But you
okay.
know, yeah, I've got them. But you know, I think the majority of what I'm seeing coming up here in the messages is lots of hugs and lots of love and support. We've got Ange and Leslie. Britt is popping in, Michelle and Jerry, and oh, we've got a yeah, we've got our friendly spammer on, guys. So sorry about that. It's taken me a bit to notice that they were in. And Julie's coming through. Josie, lots of love and lots of support. We've got a really awesome and amazing community here.
We really, really, really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have
Thank you everyone for being here with us.
Yes, thank you. Okay, that's enough of the sad times.
Well, and Bobbi, thank you for being you and for being in this place with us. So that's really special and amazing.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carrie. All right.
Yeah.
you had topics you wanted to talk about too, or unless anyone wants to actually talk about mourning and death.
Yeah, let us, you know what, guys, let us know in the comments. Like I want to make sure that we give enough space for this, because I know that you aren't alone in what you're feeling and
Yeah.
experiencing, and with the passing of loved ones. So, you know, if it's coming up. Yeah, and Suzanne saying thank you, because your words have really helped her, and Julie saying that she's feeling really scared these days. Yeah, lots of that coming up. And other Julie is saying life is messy, and so be self-indulgent and feel safe and rolling around in the mud. I love that. All right, that's it. So after we get off of our oracle chats tonight, we're going to have a mud wrestling competition in the backyard. On Vancouver Island here, we've certainly had enough rain lately. I'm sure it won't be an issue to find a
Yeah.
big mud puddle.
We're pretty far away from each other, so we'll just air wrestle.
Right. Yeah, I'm not interested in actually getting hurt, but because we both know if we get into something physical, you're coming out on top. Oh man,
I just have muscles. Where'd they go?
you do. You
I don't
do.
eat enough food for my muscles.
Awesome. So, yeah, and Corinne, I'm just noticing popping in here, always mourning most of my elders and son who have passed. Yeah, awesome.
Thing, isn't it? It is, and it gets a little bit easier, so that
Mhm.
it think, okay, I got this whole death thing covered, and then all of a sudden, kaboom! There's another one. You go, oh, I do not have this covered. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Because it can hit you like such a ton of bricks in such a way that you don't even realize. So
Mhm.
yeah, I have found the best way for me to get over it is to chat with them.
Yeah.
Is to not get over it. Is to be happy for them and sad for me, and oh well, sorry me, but wow, look at that.
You know,
So
I think that's a really good point, because that's kind of a dichotomy, right? Like it's not just better. You're not just better because you intellectually understand what you need to do, but you're kind of living between two worlds in a way.
yeah, yeah. And oh gosh, I just read Lonnie's no wrestling.
Hmm.
I have a brown belt in kung fu. I would totally.
Oh yeah, yeah, she'd wipe the floor with me. I mean, let's just be real. I'm okay with being real with that.
You're too sweet. I couldn't do that to you, but so you're aware.
Oh man.
Maybe on the wrong side. Now you're good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Now, okie
Yeah,
dokie. Yes. Mourning is a lifelong process.
yeah,
Pretty much. Yeah, because you're
yeah,
stuck here and they're
yeah.
there, and nothing's going to change, and you just have to deal with the fact that you're still here, and obviously you still have work to do.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
otherwise, you would have gone too.
Yeah, and this event, this happening, and the reaction that you have is part of the learning and growing that you're going through while you're here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Jerry's saying, even with the death of a loved one, those who take a chunk of our heart with them, they have still come through loud and clear for her. They helped me keep living, and I could not have done it alone without my hubby. Yeah, absolutely. This is a great time to reach out to your support network and your support system.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Yeah. And I did reach out to my support system, and my
Yes.
support system reached out to me. It was
Yeah.
quite lovely.
Yeah, and Chantal saying, even if you talk to loved ones for others, it's a whole other ball game when it happens to you. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree with Chantel as well. It is. It's
Mhm.
so very, very different. Because it's almost like, actually, I am not as sad about it when I am with my family because they're so sad about it.
Yeah.
So I have to be stronger. I actually go into a different sort of mode when that
Mhm.
happens. It's kind of like when someone comes up and but you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Actually, I said to my stepson, don't hug me, don't hug. And he did.
Yep.
Little things can set you off, and it's affections can set you off because then it opens up your heart chakra, and then you feel
You
it, and then
and
kaboom, you
you
start having
can't
the
just hold it in.
you can't just hold it in. You shouldn't.
Mhm.
You should allow it to run through. It's just so hard
Yeah.
to let it run through you, to come to the realization, to know the thing that they're there and you're here, and there's
Mhm.
nothing to change about that.
Yeah. I had a really meaningful conversation with somebody not that long ago, talking about the death and the grieving process and how different cultures handle death. And I think in our Western society, we haven't figured it out yet in a way that really honors those who are still left behind.
Yeah.
And there's one culture she was talking about, and I can't remember which one it was, but the idea that everybody came together and grieved like big time, let it out. There was screaming and crying, and it wasn't pretty, but it was letting it out, and it sounded kind of like our funeral idea, but to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And then there was celebration after it. Like, this was your opportunity to let it out, to be with everybody else who also loved this person, who was also grieving. And then came the celebration for the fact that they were no longer trapped here in this physical body, but they had the opportunity to move on and to move to the other side. And I thought that was really different from how we do it, but felt really honoring.
It's such a great idea because you can never do it again.
Yeah.
It's not like you can keep revisiting and finding those people again and commiserating. It
Mhm.
'cause someone significant to you dies, you actually look around and go, "What's wrong with all these people? Why do they keep living their lives? Don't
Right.
they realize what just happened? Like, what's wrong with
Mhm.
them?" You actually
Mhm.
think the whole world should stop. So
Mhm.
kinda need for the whole world to stop for a short amount of time. Dang it. Woo.
So I think we're going to call today's show Pushing Bobby's Buttons.
How can we make Bobby cry? Woo, Godly sakes. Okey-dokey. Yes, and actually Jerry brings up because she talked about her support system, how her husband got through the passing, but her husband actually was the passer.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
And
big.
I totally understand what she means by that, the closeness of her husband getting her through it for all the other people, because
Mhm.
I know that my relationship with my dad is so strong, even though he's on the other side. And I
Mhm.
know that there's certain things my aunt was saying and doing in my head, like, cause I'm having to organize a celebration of life, and I swear to goodness, every time I wake up, I have a different instruction in my head.
The joys of being a medium, right?
Yeah. Yes, especially when you are planning the celebration of life of one of the most organized and dynamic women you ever met. Like, my aunt was she's a powerhouse of a human being.
Yeah.
Golly sakes, and I have to and so she's always making me feel as though she needs me to take care of my uncle,
Mhm.
widower who she left behind, and she's absolutely right
Mhm.
too, but I okay, when I receive that information, when I get that stuff, I feel
Mhm.
better. Even talking about it, I actually feel lighter in my chest right now because I feel like I can do something. I
Yeah.
have a sense of control. I can actually making doing the celebration of life is going to be fun.
Yeah. Having something to focus on is a
Yes.
great way to also, like, balance and ground yourself in the present energy too.
But you're right, we do have some real wackadoo ideas when it comes to how we deal with death. Like, wackadoo. First
Yep.
off, why do people go nuts when someone passes away? Why does
Mhm.
every family member go insane? And why do so many people feel the need to show their importance to the deceased?
Mm.
That one I do not get. I actually used to call them funeral groupies,
Right, right.
but
I wonder if it's a validation that they're needing.
possibly.
Validation, yeah, that they're needing from some perspective, like, maybe that I have a right to grieve, or that I have a right to be here, or Mhm.
Yes, I just read Chantel's "My mother approved of her flowers and funeral arrangements." Yeah,
That's awesome.
totally
I've
see that.
I've recently been seeing a meme floating around. So I suspect that you are not the only one who is grieving right now. But it was, when I die, when I pass, please take my cell phone and text everybody who attended. Thank you for coming. Sorry, that appeals to my mischievous side.
Oh, my uncle keeps liking things from my aunt's Facebook page.
Oh, really?
Yesterday, my aunt liked something. I'm like, what? Well, for like 1 second, my mind went to, oh, maybe I was wrong the whole time. But then I remembered, no, you're not wrong. Your uncle is going on your aunt's Facebook page. I just know it. And yes, he was. So, we thought it was funny. No, we have new people who have joined us.
Yeah, we've got a couple of new people. We've got Brenda and Nicole and Ange. It's wonderful to see you all. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and thank you so much, Jerry, for bringing that in as well. That's a heavy thing to share. So
absolutely. Yes. And Heather is empathizing and feeling Jerry's pain too. Heather, thank you for being part of our community. That's really beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So my friend, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better now that I talked about it. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about things gets them actually off your chest, your heart chakra, so that you can actually heal.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do, more actually with people who aren't physically here. I haven't lost a lot of people to death in my life. Grandparents where it was, it was definitely their time. It was very expected. But I really miss the people who I love who aren't close by, that I don't get to see often. So for me, sharing stories is really important. And I love the humorous ones. Like, to me, laughter is the best medicine. And so I love sharing the funny stories.
Laughter is also the best workout for your abs.
Wow.
So we might get weather where we can show our abs. We might.
You know what? I've got a pretty impressive 8-pack. It's just well hidden. Heather, my heart goes out to you, my friend.
Yes,
yeah,
everyone. My goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the last survivor,
yeah.
I have read people like that who are the last survivors. They've lost their siblings, they've lost their parents, they feel like they've lost everyone. And it's almost like, no parents, no uncle, no grandparents, and no siblings either, Heather. Goodness gracious, hello, Amanda. And it's funny because when they cross over, they're gone from here, but they're right there. So I think that's part of the longing, the angst that they're there. And it's frustrating as hell. It's also frustrating because when you're so close to them, it's so different. When I sit across from a client and I have their people come through, it's such a wonderful and fun time. And it's so easy peasy, lemon squeezy for me. And I can jump into emotions and out of emotions, but they're not mine. Yeah. Because I'm observing and I'm saying the stuff. So, but when it happens to you, it's nowhere near feeling. And it's right there. I can feel her in my head. I can see them in front of me and stuff. They're not coming from here. It's just so different. Everything is so different.
I'm hearing very vibrant as well.
Vibrant. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very vibrant. And they come here so much, right here in my chest. Yeah. You feel them in your body so very, very much. In fact, actually, we do these very strange things with the dead. Strange rituals. Why do we do it? Why do we do that?
I was going to say, what exactly do you do with dead people, Bobbi?
Put people in plasticky, silky caskets. Yeah. Why do we do that? Why do we feel we need to preserve the body? Is that a religious thing? What is that? Is that a fear thing? What is that? Why do we do this to ourselves? And why? I think we have to stop, in my opinion, because maybe we should be put in shrouds, put directly into the earth so that they can decompose and become
Mm-hmm.
trees and
Mm-hmm.
flowers, things like that. Wouldn't that be a lovely circle of life situation?
I was just going to say, because putting them into something very man-made like that is literally stopping that cycle of life,
Yeah.
and perhaps I wonder if that's part of why we have issues around grieving. Like, we're not actually allowing that cycle of life to fully complete and continue on that very physical, visceral level.
Yeah, because we
That's a
think
really,
something's over,
yeah.
which nothing is ever over. It just
Mm-hmm.
something else.
It just transforms.
Yeah, you're transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, yeah, I just did a video on it. Oh,
Oh.
yeah, Jerry has a very good question, and I'm going
Mhm.
to ignore the misspelling of my name because it's funny.
But perhaps appropriate.
It happens all the time, actually. It was the name that I was plagued with as a 10-year-old. I was the first 10-year-old.
Of
Anyway,
course.
yes.
Of course.
So, yes, okay. So as they stay there longer, they become
Mhm.
stronger and stronger. And with my father, I can see him in full, almost like he's real enough to touch. My
Mhm.
aunt hasn't quite gotten there yet, and because of your connection with that man, it's kind of like every time I see Jerry, I see this man standing behind her every darn time. And I got to tell you, Jerry, he's not aging. I swear he told me to tell her that, but it's right. The longer they're over there, the more you acknowledge their presence, the more you say they're there, the more they can become like Jerry's husband. So that's why I
Mhm.
put up there, because I thought that is an important thing for people to know about. Okie
Awesome.
dokie. All right.
Awesome. Awesome. Let me see. You were in pod. Yeah. Okay. So Carrie said that she had seen this thing where you were in a pod wand, help a tree grow. Bad description, but you get the gist of it. Yeah, I've seen that too, where I think probably there's some form of cremation that's happening, and they put you into like a little, or the body, the remains, into a little pod that then becomes a
Oh,
tree. Mm-hmm.
I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okie dokie. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm donating my body to medical research.
Beautiful. Yeah,
My
that's a really.
And that's what my grandmother did before him. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel like, because she's the one that talked through me and my
Yep.
dad, and so it's kind of like, you gotta do it. The other ones
Yep.
did it.
Yep.
So, because
Awesome.
maybe they'll pick out my brain.
Yeah. Well, I think that'd be really cool to have a deeper understanding of somebody who does what you do,
Open our
Bobbi.
brains. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what if we open up a different part of our brain, and therefore our brain is actually snapping in different places than other people's brains do? It's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
another part of our brain, which could lead us into our new topic.
Yes, indeed. Are you wanting to segue?
Sure, let's segue.
Segue? Okay. I just wanted to say, I noticed here, Nikki has said that she's just taken a course, a hospice course, and green burials are now the new and up and coming thing. So
Yay!
hey,
Thank you for letting
that's
us know
that's
that.
awesome. That is
As it
awesome.
should be. What?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so
Shrouds.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the one of the things that popped up for me this week, I had a lot of really interesting conversations with people, and one of the things that actually came up this afternoon as I was talking with a client was around hope and fear.
Oh, yeah.
And this was really interesting because the way that I received the message was a lot of fun. I want to talk about that in just in a minute too. But I was showing the Celtic cross spread in tarot. So it's a 10 card spread, and I really enjoy it. Actually, I don't practice tarot. I don't read tarot cards, but I really enjoy the Celtic cross spread if I'm going to do a card reading, because it has 3 different components to it. The first 3 are all about the situation. The next 3 are basically a past, present, future with regards to the situation. And then the last 4 cards have to do with the outside influences and the outcome. So you have the querent, or the person who's asking the question, their influences, and then the external influences or the influences of the other person involved. So if you're asking about like a relationship and partnership, this would be the other person's influences. And then the next card, the 9th card, is the hopes and fears card. And this is what came up this afternoon, was that hope is the other side of fear. Often the things that we fear are actually the things that we most hope for. So if I'm fearful about an experience because I'm afraid maybe somebody isn't going to like me. So my hope is that the person would like me when I have an interaction with them, right? The flip side of fear is hope. And it was just this beautiful awareness that came, and it felt like it was something significant to share with many.
I think it is. And when you first said it to me, I was like, what? Because I was in fear. The other side of fear is love. It's the opposite. But when you are in the fear emotion, you're hoping for a different outcome. But because you're in the fear emotion, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you're afraid of.
Exactly. Because that's what you're putting out.
Because that's what you're putting out.
Yeah.
So and actually, could people actually be in a fear place when they think they're in a hope place?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because that's one of the things that we talk about with manifestation, right? Like you're putting out there your hopes, but if you keep asking over and over because you're concerned that you're not going to get it, you can think that you're in a place of hope, but actually your actions are in a place of fear.
Yeah. So what okay, I make wishes. I make the wishes kind of like manifestations. It's like of putting up, and I do it at certain times. Is that because I make a similar wish almost every time? Am I denouncing the wish by saying it over and over again?
I don't think so. I think that it probably has more to do with where you're coming from when you're wishing for something. Like if you're feverishly focused upon creating a certain thing, then yeah, I would say that you're probably in a place where you've got a lot of fear, like the energy of feverishness. I think is that anxiety. But if you're able to step back enough and you're able to say, hey, my hope is that everybody does really well, or my hope is that my family is healthy. I don't think that is something, because you're not, oh my gosh, I can only hope that everybody is healthy, right? Like I think it depends on the energy that you are wishing for things.
Yeah, it's almost like hope actually becomes desperation.
Exactly.
Well, and a fear.
And I think one of the ways that we can utilize fear is by stepping back from it and recognizing, hey, this fear is actually pointing me towards what I'm hoping for. And if we can reframe it, so actually I have this underlying hope that I'm afraid to acknowledge, that I want this certain thing to happen. Wow, maybe I can reframe. Do we have a guest?
We have Lily. Yes.
Oh,
dog. Lily's a dog.
I thought I heard some footsteps.
Yeah, it's a very common sound in my household.
Excuse me. Hi, Lily. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, she left. She's like, I'm done with you. Yeah, she left already. Yeah, I think I know and understand. And okay, that actually leads me to manifestation.
Okay,
let's talk about it. There's a question in here from somebody with manifestation, but it's disappeared.
Yes, I think we had some questions around like love manifestation and soulmate manifestation. So let's bring manifestation in.
Oh, soulmate, because we all know I did it. I'm always bragging about it, that I manifested my husband. I taught him into being. Well, I didn't. It was already in being. When I met him. Anyway, so I know what I do. Do you have certain ways that you manifest for certain things? Obviously, you do. You have.
I've got different things that I do for sure. Absolutely. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you do.
Okay. Well, every day is a manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Every darn day, every thought I have is a thought that I would like to see come to fruition. If it is a thought that I do not want to see, I pivot it and I change it. And it's a lot of work, but I do it because I actually believe every thought I have becomes a thing. I'm like Tabitha. I don't
Beautiful.
Tabitha bewitched. I just kind of actually. Anywho, so
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to love, though, I
Mm-hmm.
find is it rose quartz. Really, really, really like rose quartz for love manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Clear and concise details about what it is that you would like to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Emotion first, then the mental, then the physical. That's the hierarchy. So you feel it, then you think about it, and then kind of put it into action. That's the way I manifest. When I manifested my husband, I went on dates with him in my head. I would run them over and say, okay, I would think about what he would do, what I would do. And I didn't know him yet. I just kind of made this human being. I could never get his face though.
Yep.
Until I actually saw him and I went, that's his
there
face.
He is.
And I saw him in the grocery store and then followed him around the grocery store. Oh, I saw him. I said, that's the one. And I, with my 3 children in tow. That was another topic we had. How do you find enlightenment with 3 kids? Anyway, yeah, the rose quartz. I went and I bought a rose quartz, and it was a skull. That is not my thing at all. I was not really very attracted to the crystal skull thing at all. My husband loves skulls.
Interesting.
You young lady. I was going to call you a little.
Well, I actually, oh gosh, sorry, that was an ant crawling on my arm. Having a moment.
It's time for my ant.
It must have been. Oh, yeah, but my aunt was a little creepier than your aunt.
It wasn't very creepy at all. Yeah.
And I just want to say, Josie, I've just seen your message, and I do want to definitely talk about that too. So we will come back to you, Josie. Yes. So I have a very similar thing that I do. I like to focus on like the feeling of being with a person. I also in the past have written out lists of the things that I want in a partner. And in fact, the last partner that I manifested, it was quite a while ago, but I had a 4-page typewritten list of all of the things that I wanted in a partner. Yeah, I know. I got really clear. I got really specific about this list.
4 pages of stuff that you needed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in my late 20s at the time. And these were the things that I wanted. And I realized that I started talking because I was online dating at the time. And I started talking to the person who ended up being my boyfriend later at about that time. But we didn't actually get together until about 5 months later. And about 2 months into being together, I found the list again and I'm going through it. And he was everything that I had created except for the physical. The only 2 things he was not. He did not have broad shoulders, and he was definitely not clean shaven because he had like the braided goatee beard and hair longer than mine.
Figurative.
Pardon?
The broad shoulders could have been figurative.
Yes, and the broad shoulders definitely were figurative in that case. I was thinking on a physical level, but
I understand. Hey, like you want someone who can take a lot of crap, right? That's what you need.
Because apparently that's what I need.
Because you hand out the crap, maybe.
Yeah. And then, from a crystal point of view, I think one of the things that often stands in people's way when it comes to manifesting what they want is they're ready on lots of different levels to create that, but there's still emotional stuff that hasn't been dealt with. And so there are some crystals that I really like to work with too. Rose quartz is definitely one of them. But the other one that I really like using with rose quartz is actually malachite. So malachite is a really beautiful green crystal. It's the same chemical composition as azurite, but they just formed, I believe, at different temperatures. I think that's how they differentiate them. And azurite's a really beautiful blue. But malachite is a heart chakra stone, and it gets right in deep. It is such a purging and clearing stone. And so it helps you to literally get to the heart of the matter. And I like to use it in conjunction with rose quartz, because rose quartz is very loving and gentle. It's very compassionate. It is definitely a stone of unconditional love. And so
Erin stone.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And so the two of them work really well together to help prepare to be in that place. And then another crystal that I love using when it comes to love is rhodochrosite, which it's very similar to rhodonite, and again, I believe that it has basically the same chemical composition, but where rhodonite, which is very popular, it's easily found on Vancouver Island, it has black in it, so it's a pink stone with some white and black, but rhodochrosite is pink and white, and there's little to no black that's in it, so they're like the same but different. And rhodochrosite is a soulmate stone. It's specifically, it helps and supports people in connecting with soulmate relationships, romantic soulmate relationships.
Never heard of this stone. I didn't even know I could find it on Vancouver Island if I wanted to.
Well, there you go. I don't know if you can find rhodochrosite. We have a lot of rhodonite, but I don't know if we have rhodochrosite. And I just noticed Brenda's little comment here. You want a lot, Erin. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
A lot. You're right, Brenda. You're right. Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. And I'm just noticing Carrie's comments here. Carrie's saying they say the shape of the crystal skull is for manifesting intentions. I had no idea. That's really cool.
That either, and I read that, but she would know.
yes. If anybody's gonna know, Carrie's gonna know. Yeah. And Jerry says, okay, she's manifesting rose quartz, and she has a big one that she can barely lift. Now you know how to make it work. Exactly.
Yes, I actually see you licking it. I don't know if you want to do that.
Well, that's interesting, because on the heels of that, I have the clearing message. So one of the things to know, especially if you're doing a lot of work with crystals, you definitely need to be clearing those, because all of them are ones that are susceptible to holding on to a lot of emotion and a lot of energy. So if you're actively using your crystals to do any form of manifestation work, make sure you're clearing them regularly.
I do that. I actually my tub, and then I keep those same crystals around my tub.
Nice.
And then the voice in my head says, you got to clean those and change them out, because they're dirty ass crystals now, woman. That's okay. Like that. Like that. Yeah. Oh, that's our other topic.
What's that topic?
People receive messaging in different kinds of ways.
Absolutely. I wanted to quickly say, I noticed that Carrie says that she has all of the crystals that you've mentioned. So if you are needing any of the rose quartz with malachite, you need to get in touch with Carrie. So Carrie, I hope that you will post your contact information on the stream. Maybe we can throw it up on the thing. And Jerry's asking, does that include the dust? Yeah, you want to clear the dust off of your crystals if you're using them for manifesting. Show them a little love.
I don't remember what she avoid the dust, but I understand she has one she can barely lift. So
yeah, can barely lift it. So of course, the dust.
It's fine.
Okay, awesome.
You're more than welcome to share a link to whatever you need to share a link.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put Carrie's name up here so that you know how to spell her last name, and you can take a look for her on Facebook. But I did, before we pop over, I really was resonating with Josie's message
yes.
up here. Yeah, and I really wanted to talk about that because she's talking, here we go, about timeline shifts, and that is really interesting too. So Josie has said timeline shifts. Trickster medicine seems to be playing in our home. I have cleansed and called in the ancestors for protection, particularly for our 13-year-old. Pardon?
Well, I asked her a question like she was sitting right here with me. I just thought maybe her 13-year-old might be a boy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think maybe the 13-year-old is a young boy.
Is a young boy. Yeah, and it might be that he's super psychic. Do you know that?
Little bits. I've never met the 13-year-old though. So yeah, but I did want to say with the timeline shifts, Josie and I are friends on Facebook, and I saw her post about this earlier, and that was exactly what I was getting with it. So I was hoping you were going to pop on today, Josie. It feels like you've got several timelines that are happening, and what I'm wanting to do is I'm actually wanting to braid the timelines together to bring them into cohesion, because it feels like there are energies from a couple of different timelines that you guys are experiencing. So what I was seeing was braiding them. Pardon?
I don't know this concept.
Yeah, well, it's not something that I'm particularly familiar with either in terms of like braiding, but I'm seeing integrating the timelines. It's interesting that we're talking about manifestation because this is also one of the ways that I've experienced timelines in the past.
Okay,
so
tell me about timelines. I don't know what this means.
Okay, so basically there is the idea that there is more than one timeline where we are all present and that they can happen concurrently, right? So there is like no space and time. It's all just happening all at once.
An entire episode of Star Trek devoted to it. Right?
Exactly.
The space-time continuum.
Exactly. And so and so we are all right now living not only in this timeline but many other timelines at the same time. So there is a timeline where I'm living and I'm single, I don't have children. So there's a timeline where I'm living and I am a wife and a mother and I've got 10 kids. Well, maybe not 10, maybe I only have 5. And then there's another timeline where I'm doing something else. Maybe instead of becoming a psychic, I went on and I became the accountant that I wanted to become. Like there are lots of different timelines. All of the choices that we make, we split off into different timelines.
Yeah. Okay.
And so one of the things that you can do from a manifestation point of view is you can flip through those timelines. So for example, right now, like one of the things I talk about, one of the things that I focus on is relationship and partnership. Mm-hmm. And so, right now, as I said, I'm single, but there is a timeline where I'm not. And so I can flip through the timelines and say, I'm going to bring in some of the energy from the timeline where I am happily married with a partner. And I can bring that energy into this timeline and into this experience. And there could be another timeline where I'm unhappily married and I'm like, well, I want some of that single energy. So tapping into my timeline.
Because I'm in that other timeline. So I was thinking,
right?
I feel like, because there's so many times in my life I think, oh God, if I hadn't done that, then what would have happened? So that's what that is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And often
in my life without the thing that I chose.
Mm-hmm. And then often people have experiences with deja vu. Well, deja vu can also be an experience in like kind of slipping into a bit of another timeline where that thing is happening or where it's about to happen.
Okay, see, I always think of that as premonitory.
Mm-hmm. And it can be that. Yeah.
Okay, this is going to sound insane, but it's me. Sometimes I have these things where I think, okay, wait a minute, this isn't the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is happening. And when did that happen? I don't now this is the reality I'm living with, but this doesn't feel right. It was one of the presidential elections that happened to me.
Interesting.
It wasn't the one you're thinking of.
Right.
It was the one you're thinking of. But all I kept thinking was, this isn't right. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. This isn't it. Right. So that it's not that, because that made me think, okay, someone's with the world. That's what I was saying. But so it could just be that it's just me.
Yeah, you could have, and I suspect that there were probably other people at the same time. Like when we have big global events like that, I think that it's a bigger splitting of timelines that happens, right? Like I kind of see, when you get split hairs, like at the end, you get a split end, right? That's how I see when our individual timelines start fracturing off. But when you have
one thing and then goes into other,
and then it goes into two, and they're small and they're fine. Sorry. I'm just going to take my cough drop so I don't start coughing on you guys. But then when you have like a bigger global thing that's happening, like an election that's going to have an impact on a lot of people, instead of just hair splitting, then we're getting like a chunk and another chunk, right? Like it's significant. It's creating a really big change and it's affecting many people's timelines. Wow. Does that make sense?
Yes, it absolutely does.
Yeah. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The more we go down our metaphysical rabbit hole, the more I feel like Alice.
Mm-hmm. Alice. Yeah.
You can figure that out, eh?
That's so appropriate. You just happen to have Alice in Wonderland sitting right there.
They tell me to do stuff. They tell me to read certain books and things like that. And for like at the beginning of the pandemic 3 years ago, it was a book. Alice in Wonderland. And in my favorite weed shop, they happen to have this amazing edition, so I bought it.
Beautiful.
It was weird. Why is this in a weed shop? So yeah, that's why I bought it.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Yes, going down the rabbit hole, and I kind of understand why they told me to read it. I think I actually need to read it again.
I think so, with a new perspective.
Yeah, it's a new perspective because the other one they told me to read was this one, The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, cool. Yeah, again.
I freaking recommend reading this book. It's not the movie. I actually read the book because of the movie. And then I was like, oh my God, there's so much more in here than they let in the movie.
Well, yeah, because there's only so much they can put into the movie.
Yeah, well, and the ideas in here, in my opinion, are very, very, very metaphysical. And I actually want to do a video on it because Frank L. Baum actually wrote this book for a family that lost a child.
Oh, wow.
So you can just imagine what it's actually about.
Yeah.
I know what I think it's about. I think that it's about purgatory.
Right.
It's about finding your way to a successful crossing when you do not know that you have crossed.
Wow.
That's what I think The Wizard of Oz is about, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no place like home.
Yeah.
And all that sort of thing. So yeah, and I saw the shock breath thing, but yeah. Okay, so in that idea, both of these books are actually about other realms, other realities, other places, other manifestations. They are obviously odd and simple, but
well, that's often how art gets our attention and introduces ideas to us, right? It can't be, or not can't be, but often if we have something that's really literal and seems relevant to what we're experiencing, then it's brushed off. But if you make it sci-fi or fantasy,
and huge,
then the ideas can be introduced. Same with Star Trek, like it's a time, and in that time we're already flying in space. Well, that's not something that's currently happening, so it's safe for me to explore that idea.
Yeah, and I think Star Trek, well, for the most part, makes it look utopian, but not anymore.
Right. Yeah.
When we wanted that. Yeah. I agree completely.
So yeah, just kind of quickly popping. I just want to quickly pop back to Josie. What I'm seeing you guys doing is definitely doing some braiding there, and I really liked the idea of protection as well, especially for your young man.
And I actually think that Josie has earthbound spirits in her home.
That would make a lot of sense too, and that makes sense to the trickster energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and she might actually even want to take a bowl of salt and put it under a 13-year-old's bed, unbeknownst to him, and ask who she feels to be of the highest power to protect him and safe, and let all that energy drain through. Because I'll bet you anything that salt turns to water.
Likely, yeah. Likely.
I don't want to say it's all your 13-year-old's fault, but.
And obsidian pops up as well as being helpful. Obsidian's one of my favorite stones.
Yeah, it's an excellent grounding stone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The timeline explains why nothing is a surprise when it happens. Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
Erin,
Nikki says, oh, oh, what do we have going on?
it's obsidian.
Oh,
I'll go
it's
back.
I thought that you had a pendulum giving us messages
No,
while I
I
was
make
checking out the
everything a
messages.
pendulum. Well, Erin, you're a pendulum now. Go round and around. There we go.
I love it. I love it.
I
Yeah.
love making anything a pendulum. It's makes me feel like a magician. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I always wear a pendant. So I always have a pendulum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you because you can scare the children.
Yep. That's my main purpose in life.
Scare the children.
Scaring the children.
And
Yep.
there's our segue.
Yeah. And Nikki says, oh, so go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, I was going to do the segue, but let's go with Nikki first.
Oh, no. Nikki was just saying that my daughter has been saying that happens to her all the time, the switching in the timeline. So
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
and and I don't think it's the same as going into a time warp necessarily, but I suppose that could also happen as well. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, you have Alice in Wonderland cement statues, Carrie.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Go ask Alice.
10 feet tall. I know that popped into my head too, Josie.
Yeah, that's the drug connection.
Yes. Go ask
Which
Alice.
I totally understand why people, because I think he was a big LSD fella. It was very, very prevalent back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's in my book they have there's all these political things that they have.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think I think it's actually more metaphysical than political myself.
Right.
I find politics, blah, blah.
But we know how metaphysics and politics mix.
Yes.
you know.
One is constantly growing and changing, and the other one is the same dang thing over and over again.
But Bobbi, what do you really think? So I thought Josie's Go Ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall was also a really good segue for us.
Oh, okie dokie.
How do you feel? Are we ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
What about you guys? You all ready?
You guys ready? You don't even know what they're ready for, but they're ready.
So another really fun conversation that I had this week had to do with how we receive messages. And, often messages come through with a lot of humor for me. Because, and I think, and for you too, I think, Bobbi, is that right?
Oh, God, yes. So much.
Yeah.
I had spirit guides yesterday that were so damn funny. I was like, I should go on the road. I'm so good, but it's not me. Actually, I should get a whole bunch of dead comedians to come in.
Maybe this could be the beginning of a stand-up career for you, Bobbi. The stand-up medium.
Yeah. Stand-up comedian. No, we don't want that. Stand-up medium.
No. The stand-up comedian.
Comedian. That's really good. It's not going to happen, but I like it. But that is a really good idea, actually. Yeah, I wonder if I could channel famous people. Anyway.
Yeah.
What I will actually even tell people is I'll ask them, I'll say, are you funny? Because your spirit guides are really funny. Or are you this way? Because your spirit guides are being this way. They will actually show me a personality traits in the way that they speak to the person.
Yeah.
Now, do angels do that? They're higher than that, aren't they?
No. I mean, yes, like they're not going to do slapstick and stuff like that. It's definitely a more muted version. But yeah, angels are definitely funny too. Like I was, pardon?
Like British humor.
Maybe.
There's British humor.
I mean, like it's. You know how somebody can say a sarcastic comment, but because of who they are and how they deliver it, it doesn't come across as being like mean sarcastic, but it still is a sarcastic comment. And then you have other people where they throw sarcasm out like darts and it's like painful and cutting. that would be how I would describe the differences, where, something can still be funny and comedic, but it's still done in a gentle and loving way, where, other times messages that come through, they're like, wow, that is sharp. And that actually hurt the way that you gave it to me. Does
That was
that make
hard.
sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
find that spirit guides will even do that, or they'll even make me say it a certain kind of way, and then I'll go, "Oh, I'm so sorry I said it like that. Oh my
Yeah.
god!" Because they'll do
Mhm.
it before I can correct them, so that I will do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I am,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny though; they do really spirit guides for certain. I know do adhere to the personality and different because nobody is
Mhm.
one thing.
Mm-mm.
Everybody is kind of a plethora of stuff. So if you look
Yep.
at who you are, because I have far too many right now. But if I look at just the first three that I met, we could
Mhm.
look at Yogi in me, the
Mhm.
warrior in me because of my kung fu, and then we could look at the higher self of me, the mediumship.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those three are the things that first came out, and those were very big aspects of me that I was moving into at the time.
Mhm.
Sense, but I noticed that with other people as well. I'll look at
Mhm.
them and go, "Oh, you have a teacher spirit guide. You must like to tell people what to do." I don't say it like that. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't tell
I was
people
gonna say, you
good.
you must, like to impart wisdom.
Okay, that's nicer. I don't know. I don't know. Do I say it as nicely, folks? That's what I mean. I think I do. Yeah. But yeah, that's the way it comes for me. That's the different personalities and different and yes, spirit guides can be
Yeah.
hilarious and the dead can
Mhm.
be so funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Know how to deliver something in a way that you will get
Yeah.
and that everyone in the room will figure out and clap on to.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, talking through me gives people more of a license to say
Mhm.
stuff that they would have just thought in their head or
Sounds good.
rethought. And
Yep.
actually, sometimes they're just thinking it in their head, and I blurt it out because I can hear their thoughts, I can feel their feelings, and I can hear what they say.
Mhm.
So for men, especially, that's quite a whole situation.
Yes, I
So
can imagine.
men don't say what they think. I don't know if there's any men out there. I see Lonnie got on his plane, so yeah,
Yep.
Lonnie.
Yep.
They have a tendency to edit quite a bit of what they say, at least the dead ones do, and they
Mhm.
think so much more than what they're actually putting out.
Mhm.
They're a different creature.
Yep.
They are.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting because the way that I would describe it is I get it in different levels.
oh
Like,
yeah, okay.
I get it in the level of what they're wanting to say, and then I get in the level of, like, their intention or what they're thinking, and then I get, like, so I get it in different
So
levels.
important because both of us are actually valid in the way that we are receiving information, but we're receiving it differently. And I
Mhm.
really honestly believe that sorry, I keep reading people's comments and it throws me off every time.
You know?
Uh, I try to get people to figure out you got to meditate, you got to spend time with yourself so you can figure out how they talk to you. Because how they
Yes.
talk to you is not the way they talk to me. It's not the way they talk to Erin. It's not the way they talk to Deepak Chopra. It's not the
Yep.
way they talk to anyone else but you. You
Mhm.
see, it's like my voice, nobody sounds like me.
Mhm.
My sisters kind of sound like me, but they don't sound like me. And you don't sound like me. So my voice is different. My ability to bring in information is different.
That's absolutely true. I'm only laughing because my mom and I sound very similar, and she has an Alexa. Yeah, yeah, especially on the phone. Um, and
Really?
yeah, and she has an Alexa, and I've programmed it with my Google account because she doesn't have a Google account, and so it recognizes me as being the owner of the account. And it said one day, like I was setting something up, and it said, "Is this Erin?" And I said, "I don't want Alexa knowing my name." So I told it no, that my name is George. And I had my mom later, so now I can go and I can say, "Alexa, what is my name?" And Alexa will say, "Your name is George." And I'll have my mom say it as well, and it recognizes her as George.
That's cool. What is it with the name George?
I don't know.
I think my sis George, there's something with the name George. I use it all the time. I use George and Myrtle.
George and Myrtle.
I don't know why Myrtle either. I don't know any Myrtle.
Yeah. But getting back to what you were saying, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Everybody has a different pathway that they can take, and it has to do with who you are. Like for me, sitting and being really solemn, that's not who I am as a person. That's not how my messages are going to come through and information is going to come through for me. Humor is so important to me as a person that things are going to come through in a humorous way. Like one of the messages that I received the other day was based on the old toilet paper commercials, where they'd have a piece of no-name toilet paper, and they'd have a piece of the brand name toilet paper, and they'd spritz it with a couple of sprays of water, and then they'd put little weights on it, and the no-name toilet paper would break through, and the brand name toilet paper would hold the weights even though it was wet. And so the message for my client was that she was brand name toilet paper.
There's so many products they could have used.
Right? But that's what they gave me.
Because that's one that they knew you would go, oh, I know exactly what that scenario means, what the metaphor on the commercial was, and kaboom, there it is. And she would too. Because actually, this is for her, not for you. It's for you to understand, but it is her message.
It's for me to relay to her, to understand well enough that she can understand what the message is.
Yeah,
and go
when
ahead.
You have a different person come, their spirit guides actually talk differently.
Yes, they absolutely do. Well, so one of the differences between us is I work almost exclusively with angels. So they talk to me in the same way, but the messages are different for each person because each person's different.
I see. So okay. So you're working with the same group. They are just globbing onto those people's spirit guides and spirit and things like that. I see. Yeah, because I have so many different types of folks that come through my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the reasons that I like working with angels, because angels work with everybody, and they always speak to me in the same way. So it's not like meeting somebody new, but it's like meeting and connecting with an old friend. So it's, when you have, pardon?
That must be easier.
It probably is. Yeah.
It's always new. Unless actually when it's the same, then I know because I'm in the shower and there's a dead guy. I'm like, okay, they're not here. You shouldn't be here. They will show up because they know where to go. They have the address, so they'll pop in first.
Yeah. I'm just noticing a couple of the questions here. Emily, we're not doing readings today, but we're so glad that you joined us. I think Bobbi might have a show that she does soon, and I'm on Tuesday nights with Connection with Intention. And somebody else I saw. Oh, yes, here we go. Brenda was asking where you buy stones from, Bobbi, and she's in Courtney.
Yes. Actually, where do I buy stones from? All over the place whenever I find them. Yeah. And right now, I started it on May 1st. I'm not buying anything new unless it absolutely must be bought new. Like toilet paper, can't buy underwear, socks, food. Those things are new. I'm finding that I have to do new in candles, but I got to find an Etsy shop because I can't buy it new. If I can't buy it old, I want to buy it from an artisan, an Etsy, somebody who's here, maybe close on Vancouver Island, so my carbon footprint is lower, and so that I'm supporting someone like myself.
Beautiful.
So that's so far so good. It's actually been going really well. You should see the finds. Actually, I have to make a post with all my finds because it has been going so amazing. They're the ones who told me to do it, so I am doing it. So to the stone thing.
Love it. Love it.
That's where I would go. I actually just bought some stuff. Well, I buy stuff from Karma Chakra Intuitive, from Starting Finds, things like that. So on this, I believe I got this one for Christmas.
Lovely.
pick them, and then I tell people to go buy them. So I never know if I went and bought it or who bought it. Yeah. Okay.
So you knew it was coming. Yeah. And then Carrie was also on, we popped her name up a little bit earlier. Carrie also sells crystals.
Yes, Carrie sells crystals as well. Carrie Calloway Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are a couple of places in Courtenay downtown as well. Eaglestone and Gem and Gift, they've moved to 5th Street. Soul Star is there. Sacred Earth, I think, is there. There are places down in Parksville. There are lots of local places to purchase crystals.
There's a really nice crystal and rock store right next to the Beechwood Cafe on Cliff Avenue as well.
Oh, that's the one that's just moved. They're now on 5th Street.
Oh, okie dokie. They moved to 5th Street.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're on 5th Street, just below is it Fitzgerald? Yeah, so up on the upper part of 5th Street.
Okie dokie. Yeah, and actually Shipwrecked Bait Shop.
Yes, of course, Shipwrecked as well. So yeah, they're kind of four different shops right in there.
Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great spot. And you know what? If you don't live in Courtenay, then there's lots of places. There's Wishes in Duncan. There's Lobelia's Lair in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not Lobelia's anymore. They've changed the name.
Oh, that's right, because it's actually been handed over.
Yes. Yeah. So I can't remember what it is, but it is in the Old City Quarter. And then there's WTF in Parksville. I really love Ingrid in there. She's lovely. So yeah,
there's lots and lots of places. There's also, I get a lot, especially my witches stones from just around the town.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should promote taking stones from the forest. I don't know. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. That's what I do too. Marketplace type crystal. Some of my stuff is on Marketplace type crystal. Oh, type crystal in to see it.
Okay. Awesome. Here, I'm just going to pop that up there so that, thank you, Carrie. I'm glad that you posted again. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And Corinne's saying that she gets through Amazon. That's a great option too.
Yes, Brenda, I will. She wants me to message her with ideas.
Perfect.
Yeah. I may have told you all the ones I have though.
Awesome. Was there anything else? Before I have been meaning to talk to you about stepping into your spiritual practices as a mother with young children.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I used to be one.
Well, you're still a mother, but your children are just not young.
Yes. Now I can say, Mommy's working, go away. And I won't hurt their feelings because they're young adults. So, and actually, when they were little, I could meditate and be all ready to do a reading, and then I see one of my kids, and boom, I'm no longer there. Mm-hmm. I am a mummy now, and only a mummy because they require so much of my energy and attention, and they should require it. That's my job. Mm-hmm. As a young mummy, it was difficult, but I did a reading, breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. I have done readings with my children close by or coming in and out. And at first, some people would get upset with this. Mm-hmm. I would have to tell them, I'm sorry, I'm their mother before I'm anything else. Yeah. And why I work from my home so that my kids can access me when they need to. And that is why I always have worked from home. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason I actually started, I figured out a way because I had kids. Yeah. And to hang out with them all day. I didn't want to put them in daycare. So I figured out a way. But that's not like there were sacrifices were made. It's not I don't want to sound as though I am telling people they should do something. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. Yeah, mm-hmm. This is just what I had to do to balance it. Right. To rebalance my requirements. Because also too, I believe what I do to be a gift from divine. Yep. And for my children. So they must side with each other in some way, shape, or form. And kind of set aside our kids from our work incorrectly. That's the word I got, but that's not. I think we should involve our kids in our work lives too. Mm-hmm. That's just me though. That's just me.
I've been thinking a lot lately about the day that my dad took me to work when I was 7. It was one of the best days that I had ever had with him. We went into his office. He worked downtown, and yeah, it was just such a cool and an amazing experience. And then when he changed careers, he worked from home as well because it just made sense. And so he was always around when I was a kid. So yeah, I think that it is really helpful for kids to be part of our working experiences too.
Yeah, especially with what I do.
Yeah.
I could hear my kids at birthday parties and such and go, oh, that's my kid. My son, people don't die. They just go to the other side. My baby. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting this flash of, instead of being a medium, you being like a sex educator or something like that, and how that conversation would have gone.
Your mommy and daddy should actually have more alone time. Oh, yes, Nikki, you're right. I don't know if your kids, but you know what? The people you carry, the people you care for could probably benefit from your kids.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Kids are amazing creatures.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful little things.
Cool. Corinne's saying that she gets 42 kids in her baby pool in the Bronx. That's pretty impressive. That must be a big pool.
That sounds terrifying. Wonderful till they outnumber you.
Right.
They could all band together, become one very, very tall human being. Sorry, that was a whole Little Rascals thing where they all climbed up.
And the overcoat or the trench coat? Yeah.
Yes, in the trench coat. Exactly. I thought I was dating myself for a second because I pulled up the Little Rascals.
No. I really liked Alfalfa, so.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. So yeah, did you have anything else coming up today, Bobbi?
I don't think so. I think I've exposed myself quite a bit today. People who came on later are like, what? There was like exposure?
Missed the mud wrestling. Lonnie was on the wrong channel. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. So, yeah, and actually, are there questions that people had that we did not get to that you're like, what the devil? Why aren't they getting to my incredibly important question, or comments that you have about things that we said? Okay, there we go.
Corinne has a fire hydrant sprinkler and a private beach club.
She does. It's 42 kids in her baby pool.
And also, just to clarify, we're not doing readings today, but if you have like a general question that you wanted to ask, please drop it in the comments. We are definitely here for another couple minutes anyway, and would love to connect with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys too.
Yeah. Oh my God, do we ever appreciate them? There's now Brenda said me please, and I don't know what the question is, Brenda.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So if you want to pop it in again, we would love to see what we've got coming up for you.
I just keep on finding Brenda stuff.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Okay. That's so funny. Okay. Yeah. So, all right.
Okay, so here we go. We've got Chantal here, and Chantal saying, you think grief is often to open up the higher heart chakra. I can certainly see that. That would make a lot of sense. What comes up for you, Bobbi?
Yes, actually, because the heart chakra is where I see them grabbing a hold of us. It's kind of it's our heart center.
Mm-hmm.
I call it yoga. Bring your hands to center. So yeah, they bring themselves and they grab a hold of us there. So yeah, I think grief can actually get stuck there. I honestly actually believe that one of the 3 deaths that I have experienced was due to grieving.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he was grieving so badly that it actually literally broke his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that before. I think my grandmother's heart was broken when my grandfather died.
Mm-hmm. I think that Chantal might also be referring to the higher heart chakra, which is not one that we focus on as much anymore. But there is an eighth chakra, and it's called the high heart or the higher heart, and it is
Yes,
between the heart chakra and the throat chakra.
right
And
there.
I'm wondering if that's the one that Chantal is referencing. And I have to say, I'm not too familiar with it, other than I know that we have it, and that for some reason it's not typically included in the primary 7 that we focus on. But
An
I
excellent
can.
question.
Mhm.
Sorry, you go ahead. You go ahead. No, yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, from an energetic level, grief definitely lives, and it often starts in the lungs, which to me is always connected to the heart chakra. And so it would make a lot of sense that it has to do like with that opening. And when I look at what grief is in terms of being a vehicle, like, it opens us to greater compassion, it opens us to greater amounts of feeling. Grief really pulls us in a lot of ways. And not only in terms of the passing of someone, but also the grieving that we go through in other ways, like endings of relationships, or changes in like job and career, or investing in something in the future, and then that not coming to fruition the way that we had wanted it to.
Mhm.
All of these are different aspects of grief that we don't really acknowledge in the same way. Grief in our culture and society is really focused on like the passing and the loss of someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it definitely is a vehicle to higher understanding, because it's certainly a vehicle to compassion.
Yeah, I think in a certain way, but more in the it's always darkest before the dawn sort of situation, that
Hmm.
something put you through hell in order to bring you out into a greater understanding of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and that could do that, because sometimes you don't know until you've been there. Sometimes
Hmm.
you have to get a little dirty to get clean again. I don't know
Yeah.
why dirty here, but we were getting dirty there.
Wherever you get dirty on your body.
We can get dirty. Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, it would think I would. Little part of me though thinks if it's a higher heart chakra, then actually ecstasy or some sort of joy should bring you there more than sadness, because sadness is a lower level feeling. When I am sad, shit goes downhill very much. Things actually start to move in that energy, and when I'm happy,
Hmm.
I get quite the opposite effect.
Hmm. Well, I wonder if it can still be a vehicle to that, because it broadens the range of the emotional experience. In taking you lower, there's the opportunity to then go higher.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
you kinda have to experience one to have the other. You have to have the yin with the yang. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that
exactly.
makes sense.
Exactly.
So, yes, Chantel.
We think yes, but but this is only based on the pieces that we are bringing together, and
Yes,
maybe not necessarily a specific knowledge, but we're going to say yes.
and she's right. Darkness is light, because
Mhm.
light exists regardless of anything else.
Yeah.
Light is the strongest thing,
Yeah.
period. Yes.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Now, Brenda has asked about her daughter, and there are 3 separate messages actually about her daughter. Now, I immediately look at that, and I don't even want that's not I don't want to look at the messages. I don't know that I need to exactly look at the messages. I think
Okay.
that she needs to push some things out of her way, and then I see her crown chakra opening up. So if she is trying to connect to someone on the other side, it could be that she has a lot of physical world crap in her way that she has to just push
Mhm.
to the side, and then she can see more clearly.
Yep.
Or there might be a lot of physical world crap in front of her, because when we put a lot of physical world crap in front of us, or expectations or ideas
Yep.
or things that we expect to have happen, we can't actually see what we can see.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's a need to like clear the slate, clean the slate, and to ground. She's needing to get outside, to ground, to connect with the energy of the earth, and get rid of whatever is superfluous
Yes.
to
Super,
her
super.
life. Yeah. And then the other thing is also about prioritization. What is the most important to her? That's where she needs to put her energy. And it feels like that makes life very black and white. And that's what she's needing, to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, keep it simple. Stupid is actually an excellent way to live your life.
Mm.
Stupid, because every time we complicate things, we just make them messier and messier. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Brenda, we're so glad that you joined us. Thank you. Okay, and so we've got Nikki here next. I wish I could laugh like you both. You know what? I just want to send you a great big huge ball of laughter, Nikki.
Ooh, yes, we want you to feel stupid and silly at the back of your head. And I know what I do when I don't
Yep.
feel like I'm gonna be late.
Yep.
I actually put things of light in front of myself all the time. I watch silly sitcoms, things that don't mean actually watch Superstore. It actually got me through the deaths. Sweet little sitcom. It's sometimes it's nice to watch something that's useless.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the fact that it brings you some sort of giggle joy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's force yourself to laugh. What? Yeah. Anyway,
The
that's what I
other Absolutely. And Nikki's saying here the other, hold on. The other thing she said is my spirit guides tell me not to be so rigid, but I don't know how to be light anymore. If your spirit guides are giving you that message, it means that they're also there to help and support you in becoming light. So if you don't know how to do it, that's okay, because they're saying, hey, this is what you need to do, and we can help you.
and that's
So
a bit negative message.
yeah.
Not to be so rigid. It's also ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Do you know what I would do? I would say, hey, I don't get that. Give that to me differently. That's what I would say to them. What do you mean by rigid? What does that mean? Help me out.
And let them know that you're listening, that you've gotten the message, because like you're understanding at least part of the message, that there's some sort of change that you're needing, and say, help me. If you want me to not be rigid, then help me to see opportunities for that. And then your job and your work is to be open to exploring the ideas when they present themselves. So it's kind of like a double.
Yeah, it's like you're
parts.
supervisor and they're the employees in your charge, and you guys all have a task that you have to do, and that's your life. But you're the supervisor, and it's up to you. I'm talking to her face right over here. So yeah, you have to tell them what you need from them, and then they will give it to you.
Yeah. And then I wanted to also send out an energy bubble of laughter to Nikki. And my intention is that it also go to anybody else who's needing some laughter. So Bobbi, do you want to help me with this?
Yes, sure. I'm actually sending tickle.
Oh, you're sending tickles?
Okay.
Okay, all right. You can send tickle energy. I'm going to send
inside of your spine.
Okay, so I'm going to invite all of you to join us in this, whether you're feeling it or not. And if you are open to receiving some of Bobbi's tickle energy or some of my giggle energy, then the intention that we're setting is that this is for you too. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start, first of all, by being really silly, because I think that when you do this type of energy work, you should be silly. So we're going to start charging our hands. Okay, so the way that we charge our hands like this, you know, when they have the paddles and they're gonna shock somebody, they go clear. That's what we're doing. We're building up the energy like that. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna make the ball. So the ball is the energy that you've just made with your hands. And if you do any form of energy healing and you want to incorporate anything else, please go for it, because that's what this is all about. So what I'm doing right now is I am filling this energy ball with the best dad jokes ever.
Oh, no good dad jokes. Okay, I'll go with you.
Hi, I'm hungry. I'm Dad.
Oh no! Hi, thirsty. I'm Dad. Go to make
We'll put in some brand name toilet paper. Okay. And most importantly, we are going to fill our energy balls with love. With lifting light and energy. And we are going to combine them all together. So right now there are a whole pile of us creating these energy balls, or at least in my mind, we've got 15 people who are apparently live with us right now. I'm hoping that at least a couple of you are joining me in this silliness.
See you.
So we'll see all, we'll see all of our energy balls coming together, making one great big huge energy ball full of tickles and other dad jokes.
And some Monty Python.
Perfect. Yes, we should have several different types of humor in here, just in case, people don't enjoy the dad jokes.
It's in the hall.
I'm hearing there's no place like home, probably because my home is full of dad jokes. So, okay. And what we're going to do, everybody, now that our ball of energy and love and giggles and tickles and light is together, we're going to see it go out to everybody who is open to receiving it, to needing it. We're definitely sending it to Nikki, and you can bring it in for yourself as well. If you're needing a little bit of lightness, you can see it coming into your body anywhere where you are holding heaviness, or where it feels dark, or where it feels uncomfortable, where there is uncertainty or lack of clarity. Just see it coming in, bringing a little light, bringing a little love, bringing a little laughter and some tickles. As soon as I said that, of course, I felt the tickle coming up my back.
Being a pervert with everyone that's watching us now.
That's okay. They miss the mud wrestling later. We have to give them something now, right? Like,
yeah. Really, I don't know if you guys did that, but I felt that. That was really
Lots of tickles. Awesome, Nikki. We're so glad that you joined us. And we hope that you'll join us again next week when we have our fun too.
Yes, because we're fun.
Awesome. Okay, so next we've got Julie here. Julie's asking, about, hold on. I've just lost it. Asking about her surgery June 30th. She's very scared and anxious.
I immediately hear it's going to be fine.
Yeah. It feels...
Sorry, go.
No, you go.
Bring something that is healing, that you feel. I actually see clear quartz, but something that makes you feel like you have God on your side. That's actually what I hear as well. But I do hear that it's going to be fine, and it might actually begin a new path for you.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I love working with angels. So call in Archangel Raphael. If you don't remember the name, that's okay. You can just say, angels, please help me. But Archangel Raphael helps and supports us with physical healing. He is the angel that works with healers. And so he can help through the surgery, making sure that your surgical staff have the knowledge and the tools that they need to best help and support you, and to help and support you in the process leading up, during, and after your surgery as well. Yeah. Awesome. We're sending lots of support your way too, Julie.
Support your way, Julie. I hope you're still there.
Yeah. Awesome. And Chantel says, in darkness is light. Yes, absolutely. I think that's going back to some of the comments we had earlier.
Yeah, I think it's when we were actually talking about what Chantel had said about the higher heart chakra.
Yes, absolutely. And I see here, Julie said, my kids are also quite anxious with the not knowing. I would again call on Archangel Raphael, ask him for help and support in calming their anxiety and their nerves. I'm kind of hearing the conversation that we had earlier about fears being actually what we hope for.
Yes. Yeah. And, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I keep hearing it's going to be just fine. That actually, to me, means that you're going to live through your surgery. Actually, if they tell you you're going to get way better, then I think, oh, they're going to pass away. So yeah, I hear you're going to be just fine. And the kids need to know that you're going to be just fine. And I actually wonder if it's around your chest, this surgery that you're about to have. So, but yeah, it actually, I see a new pathway opening up, and it doesn't look like it's on the other side. So
yeah. Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm seeing exactly the same in terms of things being okay. So just keep breathing and encourage your kids to keep breathing too, because that's the best thing that they can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking positive
Awesome.
sometimes is the only thing we have.
Yep.
And we
Yeah.
end up all the time. All I can do is think about how I want it to go, not
Mm-hmm.
I fear it might go. So
Exactly. Yeah, our brains are such powerful and amazing things, particularly when it comes to creating our reality, which is part of what Bobbi was talking about as we were first talking about manifestation. And you can play the what if down game. And the what if down game is, what if this thing happens and this awful thing happens and this other awful thing happens? Or you can play the what if up game, which is, what if this thing happens and this wonderful thing happens and this even more wonderful thing happens? So you have the
yeah,
choice.
that's
Go
the
ahead.
big unknown one too.
Mm-hmm.
The game is Murphy's Law. Everyone knows that crap. Murphy's Law, so silly. But then the up game, you don't even know what could happen because anything could happen. People don't
Exactly.
realize. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because you never
Absolutely.
know. And if you aren't on a positive realm, you actually might miss it a little bit and then
Mm-hmm.
not the full potential of that new exciting thing. So
Mm-hmm.
holy sakes, it's tough to be alive. Yeah. But it's great to be alive.
It is.
And we wouldn't be here if we weren't supposed to be learning. So we are. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Big
That's
thank you,
right.
Brenda. You're right. I
Yeah, and
love
we're sending, lots of love and support to you and to your kids too, Julie.
Yes. Yes, Julie. And yeah, if you need us, we are here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome.
Both. All right. So what are we doing? it's late.
How are you feeling? Because we're well over the time that we usually go. Are we feeling like we're ready?
I think we're feeling like we're ready. I think we're feeling like we're ready. Yeah, I think we put the call out to their extra questions if anyone needed them. And I think
Absolutely.
without getting screwed over. Think positive, Angela. She is asking about a family situation and whether or not she'll come out of it without getting screwed over.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that you saw that because it's not on my screen. So yes. Yeah, absolutely. Think positively. And again, the hope in the fear, how they work together.
Yeah, just even saying or getting screwed over is actually putting that negative variable in there. So don't even put the negative variable in there. And no one can put things to you that you do not allow them to do. Mm-hmm. That is a terrible thing I just said because I immediately went to the thing that people can do whatever they want to you if they're larger than you. That is true. Mentally and emotionally, people cannot make you feel something that you do not
choose
to feel or choose to feel. Yeah, sorry. My brain went to the worst case scenario immediately, and then I had to pedal myself back to reality land.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. It's a fine wine. Fine wine. Wow. As somebody who doesn't drink wine, that was an interesting Freudian slip. Yeah. It is a fine line walking between the physical world and the metaphysical world, because we've got the idealism in the metaphysical world, and then we're like, okay, but how do we deal with that in the physical reality?
Physical world, yeah. Because so many people in the physical world think Murphy's Law. Yeah, anything can and will go wrong if there is the variable, and you just can't think that way. Yeah, or it's just not productive to think that way. Okie dokie. All right.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. It was such a pleasure connecting with you. We'll be back on Sunday. Is that right, Bobbi?
I believe so. Yes, that would be Sunday, June 12th.
Wow. You're really up on it. I was like, what day would that be?
Without writing it down.
Awesome. So yes, we will be back on Sunday, June the 12th at 3:30 Pacific, which is 6:30 Eastern time. And do you have any announcements that you want to make while we're here, Bobbi?
Okay, there's the spot I'm standing on. That's right. Okay. Yes. Okay. I am going to start a mediumship Mondays, I think.
Woo! Yay!
Mediumship, we'll start with them. That's why I chose that. Connections with the other side. So, yes.
Beautiful.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
the first Monday of every month or the second Monday of every month. I haven't quite worked that out yet. Maybe the third. I don't know. But I'm going to have it so that it's one Monday a month.
Beautiful.
Rather than 4 Mondays a month, because
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And this is a gift, not something for me to play with. Oh, geez, did that ever sound asshole? It's not the way I meant.
It is a lot to do a show weekly. I know, because I do one too, and then we have this one as well. It's a lot. So that sounds like
and
yeah. So awesome. So stay tuned to Bobbi's Facebook page. We'll also have it on the Universal Connections page. It might be on my Facebook page too. We'll have more information, and we'll have a little StreamYard Get Reminder clip coming up for you as well.
Yes, thank God for Erin.
Awesome. So we will see you next week on Sunday. I will be on Tuesday, Connection with Intention, on my Heavenly Messenger page, and also on the Universal Connections page. And yes, we will see you on Sunday.
We will see you on Sunday. Yes, that's right. We all need self-care.
We ready?
Yes.
All right. Namaste.
Namaste.